Welcome back to another episode of Life Changers, and this is Mike. I'm really excited. I'm excited today. I just can't hide it. Come on. Okay, so I'm alone in the studio, but I'm still excited. It's really nice in here. I got my salt lamp on. It's a really nice salt lamp. It has a nice little fireplace light ambiance to it, and then I have some of these like LED blue light strips around the top of the wall here. And I just like sitting in here and just thinking about what I'm going to talk about. And yesterday I took my kids to the movies to watch the movie Wish. And I'm not sponsored, okay, by Wish or the movie people or whatever. Oops, I'm just throwing remotes around here. But anyways, I'm not sponsored by anybody for talking about this. I just want to talk about it because it was a good movie. I'm going to admit. It wasn't, it was what I call old Disney. It was like an old Disney movie, like classic. It was a classic Disney. Like the people that made this movie, and there's a little bit behind the scenes at the movie theater before you watch it, all the previews and stuff like that. That takes like 2 hours before the movie actually starts. But, and they were talking about how it's like some of the older people that work at for the studio, and they brought in some younger people, and they were like teaching them like, their methods and stuff like that. But I really like it because it had the, the old feel of happy-go-lucky and stuff like that, like the typical, I guess, movie. Had no, I didn't feel like it had anything negative about it. It was kind of like you could apply it to real life, right? And, I recommend you go watch it if you have kids. Take your kids, give you an excuse to go watch it, or wait for it to come out if you have the, on one of those, whatever it's called, streaming services in a few months. But it was a good movie. I only take my kids because, I love going to the movie theaters. And my brother sends my kids every year free movie tickets. So it's like a movie kid bundle, which gives you like the movie and junk food and all that for free. So the kids were so excited, and that's the movie they picked. And I'm sorry about that. I got to drink at least this time I brought water in the studio. But the reason why I want to talk about it is because it had a really good story to it. Sorry, I was just wondering why I stopped hearing ringing in my ear. I shouldn't complain. It means the headphones are really good. Anyways, but I like it a lot because you can liken to, or what's going on, I guess, in life and whatever, right? How a lot of people feel, there's somebody with good intentions, like as people say, the government or whatever, right? Trying to keep us in line and in check. So it's kind of like that, like where this started with this guy with good intentions, he had a dream and it was squashed and he wasn't allowed to dream anyways. So it was pretty much saying how like people give up their wish to this like magician guy and he'll keep it safe. But the funny part is as people started realizing when you turn 18, you give up your wish, right? And then once a month or something, they have a big wish party, and then somebody gets elected, and he gives them the wish, like their wish. Like, here you go, I'm going to give you your wish. And the thing that I liked about it is because as people give up their wish, right, or their desire to take self-control or take control of their lives, they just became like little zombies. They're like they lost hope. They lost, stuff like that. And you could liken that, for me, I likened it to like, if you kind of like just give up or give up on your dreams or always dream, but never do it because you're like, oh, well, whatever, it'll never happen. So why dream? Like, yeah, it's good to have dreams, but it's good to also do your dreams. And, so like these people give up their wish, their dream, pretty much. That was their wish, right? Like, I wish I can fly, or I wish I can become a successful clothes designer, stuff like that, right? And it was pretty cool. And anyways, so then this girl, like one of the main characters, she's like, well, I want to work with this magician guy and be his like assistant or whatever. And then as she got close, like start going for an interview with him and all that crap, she realized like this guy, like, I don't know, is kind of obsessed with keeping the wishes and making sure that he doesn't give certain people wishes because they might like motivate people to leave their island that they live on or whatever, right? And he became like a bad guy. And then this girl's like mission was like, I'm gonna get my family's wish back, because he's like, I'll never give your grandpa and your mom their wish, ha ha ha, right? And anyway, so it turns out like he becomes a bad guy, and then this girl wishes upon a star, right? So like we always expect, so this is why where it gets like, to me, I was watching the movie like, oh, I got a podcast, I gotta talk about this. But like what I got out of it is like, and when you reply to real life, is we always have dreams, wishes, but we just give up. We just give up on doing them. We don't believe that it'll actually happen. That's what a dream or a wish is, right? It's something that's going to happen. Never. And you know that in your heart. And it's sad, because the way I live and the way I'm trying to program myself is like, dreams are made to be followed through. Like, I'm going to create my wishes or my dreams and my reality and stuff like that, right? And we can all do that. But like, this girl was like, oh, you know, she's so sad and depressed. And she was like, I'm wishing upon a star. So then, you know, she made that wish to the star, and then it turns out the star comes down and it's like, I'm going to help you with your wish, right? But the moral of the story is of the whole movie is, in the end, everybody in that town, okay, everybody in that town is a star, which means they can create their own wishes, and that if they, you know, they don't need somebody to create their wishes. They don't need outside. They can do it themselves. They are a star. They're a force to be reckoned with. They are important. They're, you know, stuff like that. And it was amazing because, like, I could liken that to the real world that we live in right now, right? If it's real, I don't know. Some people tell me we live in a simulation. Hey, man, who cares if we live in a simulation? Let's figure out how to hack it then, because I want to hack this sucker, get everything I want. And for me right now, the hack is Life Changers Mike. No, the hack is law of attraction and turning dreams into reality. That's what law of attraction is all about. It's teaching you to take control of your dreams, of your reality, to take control of your destiny. Not just be like, oh yeah, you know, one day it's just, it will happen, or this or that, right? Like, if you really have a dream or a wish that you want to accomplish something, set it. You know, use the law of attraction, set it and forget it, right? And act as if you already have it, and it will come. Because everything is vibrations. And the vibrations we use the most, it seems, in our current reality, in our current state, and the, you know, the mainstream world, as we call it, right, is that sadness, negativity, depression, all that stuff is what we're attracting in the mainstream world. Poverty, lack of, false hope. Oh, you know, don't have hope in accomplishing your dreams. You know, it'll never happen, right, Mikey? No, that's what is out there. That's what's pushing us down. And if you choose to accept it, it's your problem. You have nobody to blame for anything except yourself. If you don't follow your dreams, if you don't, you know, do your thing, or like that Eminem song, you know, you got one shot, one opportunity, right? You have choices to make in life. And it's up to you. Are you going to continue not believing in yourself, not choosing to be the star that you are? Or are you going to choose to recognize it? That, you know, everybody collectively, okay, this is where it gets fun, are creators, right? And if we all co-create, we could do anything, right? Because we're all here to create our own personal realities. And it's not like I'm here to create my own, right? I'm here to create it with other people. So here's an example. Mike has a story for us, everybody. No, but check it out. I sold my house in 2019. 2018. And I talked about it before, in a recent episode few episodes back, and I did very well on selling my house. Law of attraction, right? I'm like, I could sell it. Nobody believed in me, and I did. And I got good money for it. in hindsight, as I said in the other episode, 2020, 2021, I would have got like double that. But hey, whatever. At least be happy with what you have. Don't think of the things I could have had. Right? So anyways, I sold my house. And we were going to do the, living in half the year and traveling through, Florida and Texas and stuff like that, mainly Florida. And we never made it to Texas or anything like that, but all the hot states, right? So mainly Florida. And then I live half the year in Canada, right? But then plans changed. So anyway, so now we're looking for a home. And as you heard me talk in some of my episodes, in Ontario, Canada, houses are crazy stupid. And then we're like, well, we're renting a house right now. Like my company's renting a house for me. Like, and now I'm like, well, I need a bigger place. So we're going to rent a standalone house. And I want property connected to woods. And there's a lot of that up here where I live in Ontario. So we're looking around, right? And like always, we're kind of looking, but we know in our heart, I'm like, yeah, it's really hard to get a mortgage in this day and age because you're self-employed. People are like, oh, you're self-employed, you're high risk, I don't want to give you a mortgage. But if you worked at Walmart for 2 years or McDonald's or wherever for 2 years, we'll give you a mortgage for $1 million, no problem. Funny how that works. But anyways, I digress. But anyways, so we're just kind of looking. And then, we saw this house that we thought was like looking at these houses, and I'm like, that's cool. And I'm just like, okay, I'm going to use the law of attraction. So I can, it's hard to get a mortgage. You have to have at least, and for me, like 30% down. And houses are really expensive, so that's a lot of money. And I was just like, well, I'll use the law of attraction to get what I want. And then we started looking at renting a house for a couple of years, and then I could, save up and then have the down payment and see if the market kind of goes up or down or whatever, right? And, find the perfect place. So I just put in the universe, I'm going to find the perfect place, and that's all there is to it. And when it comes, I'll be able to afford whatever it is. So then my wife's like, oh, hey, we're going to meet we're going to go see a house for rent. That was a very reasonable house for rent. So we're like, let's go check it out. And we're like, we're not going to talk. We're going to let the people do the talking, and we're just going to answer their questions, And my wife's like, don't let your life changers mic out. Don't try to give them a card and make them listen to our podcasts. Anyway, or my podcast. What? Anyways. And I was like, yeah. So we went and looked at the place, and, it was pretty nice. And we were the first ones to look at it that day, and the couple was like, well, we have a lot of people looking at it, but this is what we want. Stuff like that, right? And then we were like, oh, yeah. And then they said, well, if you're interested, we could do rent with option to buy. And I was like, oh, do a 2-year rent thing, and then hopefully with the down, like, we pay more than rent, and then they give us a portion of our rent back. And then, they keep the money, and they give me a portion back so I can have my down payment. So it's kind of like they're helping me save up for my down payment and stuff like that. It looks good on paper and everything. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's pretty interesting. Because that's kind of like what one of my friends were saying. My friends were like, hey, just let you know, see if they'll do like an owner buyback or rent to own option or stuff like that, right? And I was like, yeah. But I didn't even have to mention it. They decided, well, we're going to mention this. And they said, we like you guys and, good vibes. And they said, well, we've got a lot of people we're meeting today, like another 8 people or so on, right? And we're like, okay, yeah, we'll let you know. We'll think about it. And then we're kind of like humming and hawing, and it's a little bit farther than from my warehouse than I'd like. And we're like, nah, And then we went and looked at a nice house, like just for fun. Like I was like, oh, a 50 acres lot. And the house was kind of small, like the one we went to look at, the 50-acre lot, but it had a sugar shack on it. And I like that. And in Quebec, I grew up going to Le Cabane Sucre for all the Frenchies. An English sugar shack. I grew up going to those places, and I love them. And I was like, oh, that's it. I want this 50 acres. I want this sugar shack. That's all there is to it. But we went and looked at the house, and it was small. Like, it only had, like, 3 bedrooms, and we needed, like, 4 or 5 bedrooms. And it was nice, but the house wasn't as big. Like, if the universe hooked me up with the cash to buy this place, I would have had to come up with, like, another $200,000 for renovations to make it big enough for us to live in it. Anyways. And so, my wife wrote the other couple saying, thanks for the offer for the rent to own and all that, but, I guess it's just not for us, right? Because they, we're thinking they probably tell that to everybody, like, oh, we like you, good vibes, here's the offer, right? But then a day or so later, the lady wrote back to my wife saying like, oh, it's sad, and we're willing to work with you. We had good feelings about you guys. And then so I was like, okay, we'll come look at the house again because maybe we're overthinking it, right? And we'll look at the area a little bit better and stuff like that. And we went and looked at it, and they're like, look, we'll just cut to the point. Like, we really liked your energy. We liked you guys. There's something to you. And it's like, we can't explain it. And I was just like, okay, yeah, well, we're talking a bit. And then somehow the conversation turned into like, hey, have you heard of Dr. Joe Dispenza? He's like, yes. Do you listen to him? I'm like, yes. And, and then I was like, well, I have a podcast, and this one's Law of Attraction. And he's just like, oh, that's it. That's why we have the connection, right? And we're just like flipping. I'm like, oh. Like, the universe is hooking us up. I'm like, this is it. This has to be, like, let's reach an agreement. Let's figure this out. And, we ended up reaching an agreement, figuring it out and stuff like that. So it's going to be awesome. And yeah, like, the opportunity just came. Like, the universe is like, here you go. You put it in the universe. This is what you want. This is what you would like to, how to operate. And then, you could own the place in 2 years or so or whatever. And these people are really nice people and stuff like that. I was just like, oh, the universe hooks us up again, right? And it's just amazing how, like, through that, like, and they were putting in the universe that they want to find somebody who will take care of their home, because this has been their home since the 70s, and they raised their kids in there and stuff. And they just want somebody who can, enjoy the home and give it a second life and have memories in it with their family and their kids. And like the lady was like, oh, you remind me of, your kids remind us of our kids when they were younger. They're the same way and all that. So I'm like, this is meant to be. That's all there is to it, right? So let's do it. I can never go wrong when I trust, the law of attraction or the universal flow or whatever you want to call it, right? You can never go wrong. And the opportunity was there. And we took it because that's how the law of attraction works. We're always sitting there going, a lot of people, like not everybody, but I'm saying like 80% probably or 75% of people that heard of the law of attraction. And I was the same way. And don't give two hoots about it. They're like, oh, these people are crazy. They're just sitting there going, I wish this will happen. And then it happens. Oh. So then people just sit there like, okay, make my dreams happen. Come on, Mike. Make my dreams happen, Mike. Come on. I'm waiting here. But then all these opportunities come your way, and if you don't recognize them and take them, then you're going to miss out. Just like how I found the perfect trailer, the perfect truck, how I started rebranding with different names and stuff like that for my companies. And everything's just like, oh, when I just trust the universal flow and the energy of the world, right? And how I picked my stocks in 2019 and 2020, they did very well, and blah, 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 right? I'm not like sitting in front of a computer for like 20 hours a day looking at stocks or trying to figure whatever. I just set it and forget it and act like it's going to happen, and I'll trust my gut or the universe or the little still small voice or your heart, right? Because we are all creators. We all have the power to achieve and get anything we want. You just have to let your heart open, right? Like back to that movie Wish, and a little cartoon Wish from Disney. Literally, in their heart was where their wishes are. And then when they all started realizing like, oh no, like I have control of my wish. I have control of my life, and I am important. We're all stars, right? We could all make our wishes come true. And then their heart started glowing and stuff, right? And that's the way it is. And that's it. If you can create from your heart with love and compassion, just like in that little movie, a little cartoon, how you can do anything, and you'll achieve everything. I know it sounds like weird and whatnot, but it's true. But you can't just be idle, sitting around waiting. Oh, the universe will provide. Yeah, it will, but you have to see the opportunities and you have to move forward, right? Like, go achieve your dreams, work towards it, and the universe will make way for you to achieve it. And I know we talked about it a little bit, but I'd like to talk about it again. There's different strategies for law of attraction. Some people are more visual, need more practical things, like a vision board or drawing out a thing on paper and stuff like that. But like in one of the episodes that I listened to of Dr. Joe Dispenza, he was talking about how it was like, was it Dr.? No, I think it was Michael A. Singer. Sorry. I don't know. One of those guys, Dr. Joe or Michael A. Singer. I think it was Michael A. Singer. Anyways, how it was like his daughter, she wanted to go to Italy and she wanted to like go for free and not have to pay and maybe get paid while she's out there, right? It's kind of far-fetched. But she said it in the universe. She wrote her intentions on a paper. And she's like, this is it. And some people will take the paper and burn it and say, there you go. It's in the universe. Some people will just have the paper as a reminder with them and just say, like, I said it. This is my intentions and this is what I want. It doesn't matter what you do. There's no right or wrong way. As long as you find a way that works for you, where you're like, yes, this works. Like you can get a little pyramid-looking paperweight or something and put that on your paper and visualize it like being absorbed. The energy and getting shot out through the pyramid, right? It doesn't matter how you visualize it or how you make it come into your reality. As long as you can believe or have faith or trust in the process and let it happen, then it will work. There's no wrong way. There's no way of, I need to burn this paper to make my wish come true. Or I need to do this to make this. There's nothing like that. And it's funny because, like, I was talking to my wife the other day and we're like, yeah, we know a lot of things, but yet do we actually truly believe it? And that's the question. We know a lot. We speak a lot of things. We say, yeah, this is the fact. This is the whatever. But do we truly actually believe what we say in our hearts? And that's the goal. That's what we have to achieve. I know right now it's flu season. Right now it's like no December 4th today while I'm recording this. And a lot of people are getting sick out there. It's flu season, right? It gets cold, muggy, wet, snowy. Flu season happens. That's just how life is. And I say there's a few types of people out there during flu season. And you might recognize which one you are. But there's the ones that go, hey, it's flu season. I get sick every year. It's just going to happen. It's going to be quick and painless. Let me get sick for a few days and it'll be done. There's some people that would be like, well, if they see somebody sick, they're like, well, it's inevitable. We're all going to get it because somebody at work has it. So now we're all going to get it. So I'm going to get sick eventually and then we'll just deal with it and whatever, right? And then there's the ones like me that go, I never get sick. And it doesn't matter how you want to see it, but like I choose not to be sick where I'm like bedridden for a day or two or have the flu or whatever, right? Because, I don't got time for that shit. I ain't got time for that. Go get me a cold pop. Anyways, that was a good one. I thought somebody was barbecuing. That was a good meme. Anyways, but I was like, yeah, I choose not to be sick. And, it's good to get viruses and stuff, right? Because anybody who's like, recognizes it, and then, next time you won't get it and stuff, and you get stronger, right? If it don't kill you, make you stronger. I should not be a singer. But there's the ones that like bring in the sickness in the reality, right? Because like, I always get sick. I always do this, or I'm always this, or I'm always this, or I'm sad because of this, or I'm, always depressed in this season, or I have this issue that, and then you're creating it. I know it sounds stupid, but think about it. If you're saying to yourself, you always get sick, or like I do with the casino, like, people say, I never win, then of course you won't win, but there's still a chance that I might win. But in your heart, you don't believe that. Right? Like I said at the beginning, it's easier to believe negative stuff. It's easier to believe like, oh yeah, I'm always sick, or I'm always sad, or I'm always depressed, or I'm always this, and negative, because that's all we've been programmed to see and understand. It's hard to have love, compassion, understanding, and choose to be like, no, I don't want to be sick. I don't care if it's somebody's sick, I'm supposed to be sick. No, I don't want to be sick. I'm healthy. My body's strong. The virus will come, and my body will be like, hey man, what's up? And take it out the back and beat it up and throw it away. I know I might sound stupid or crazy to some people, but if it works for me, it works for me. But I choose not to be sick. And don't get me wrong, I'm taking a lot of vitamin C and a lot of vitamin D during flu season because I don't want to get sick. So yes, I'm doing preventative, but I choose not to be sick. There's also people that do the exact same thing as me, do preventative, but they're like, oh yeah, Stephanie at work today is sick, so I guess it's going to happen. I'm going to get sick. And then sure enough, you get sick. And then if you choose, right, when you do get sick, like you might get sick eventually, right? But when you do get sick, it's how you overcome it. Are you going to be like, oh, I'm so sick, I'm dying, I need to go to the hospital, I need to do this, or, oh no, it's the end of the world, look how sick I am, right? Because you like the attention. I don't know, right? Or if that's just the way it always is for you, like, oh, I'm sick, and it's really bad, because when I get sick, I get really bad, right? And I'm not making fun of you. I'm not making fun of nobody. But just know that there's another option to be like, hey, I understand my body is sick, it needs to be healed. I'm going to help heal it, right? Like meditate or have positive energy. Like, I understand I'm sick. Because do you notice if ever you're sick or you got hurt or cut and you think about it, it hurts, right? Or if you think about how sick you are, then, oh yeah, I can feel how sick. But do you ever notice how you're like, hey, during the day, I was so busy, I didn't think about being sick and I felt so much better. Then now that I'm at home, I'm like, oh, I'm so sick. Where's my coffee or my tea or where's my medicine, right? And then you feel so much worse. But yeah, when you're in the world, pretending you're not sick and believing that I'm not sick, I'm going to get over this, right? How you forget about it and then you just feel so much better. But then you start focusing on it again, right? Or somebody points out, hey, what happened to your head? You got a big cut there. Oh yeah. And then, oh, that pain. Oh, it still hurts, right? Oh, right? And it's how it works. If you're focused on it, you're going to get it. That's my trick of the day. Mike's advice of the day. Right? Positive. Yeah, we're all going to get sick eventually, but how are you going to react to it? Are you going to allow it to overtake your body and be the worst thing in the world? Or are you just going to be like, yeah, I'm sick. Let's get into the frequency of healing through the universe and not be sick anymore so I can move on and get shit done, right? But, yeah, it's very interesting how... I don't know. For me, when I watch movies, I could see like things and I understand. I'm like, oh, and I could bring it, into my reality and be like, oh, this is what that means. This is what that is, right? But it is true. We are all important, right? You know how there's some people are like, oh, maybe we're all NPCs. Maybe this isn't even real, right? Maybe I'm not even real. But I don't know. Who cares? It feels real, so it must be real. But I just want to just love life, enjoy, not hate. I hate. It's an oxymoron. I hate hating. But no, we just gotta love everybody and enjoy and just stop being victims in the world and blaming everybody else for our problems instead of looking at ourselves. It's kind of like, I had an uncle who was divorced like 4 or 5 times. It was always the girl's problem, but I think it might be my uncle who's the problem, right? If you're always getting fired from a job because, oh, I had a bad boss, my boss is a douche, blah, 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 blah. I think you might be the problem. Right? If you're like, oh, I just totaled 4 cars because, stupid drivers out there. I think you might be the stupid driver. The common denominator is you. So for me, instead of it being like that, like negative or whatever, for me it's like, oh, hey, it's Mike. He's at the casino and he's, winning. Or, hey, Mike, positive energy guy. Or Mike creating his dreams and living life to the fullest. So the question and the trick is, right now, I guarantee you a lot of people listening to this podcast and have the same problem where we don't know what to do with ourselves anymore. We just get bored and go on I'm just throwing things around my office again. We just get bored and go on our devices and scroll Do the dead scroll on Facebook. Do the dead scroll on TikTok or YouTube Shorts or YouTube. And our attention span's getting a little smaller and smaller and smaller. Right? Where right now, we're going on half an hour of me talking in this episode, and people are like, either a lot of people left already, or a lot of people are like, this guy's so long, right? Even my wife, she finds it hard to watch a movie with me because she's like, nope, I was gonna. And it's sad, and we talk about it and we joke about it, but it's true. We all need to recognize that we're all dead scrolling, wasting our time, wasting this amazing opportunity to be alive, to change the world for the better. But Mike, it's hard to change the world. Everybody's against me. The government won't let me change the world. You know what? You'd be surprised what can change the world. It's just like in that movie Wish, when everybody banded together and realized they were all strong and they don't need somebody to give them their wish, and how they could achieve their own dreams and wishes. And they all banded together and fought back, right? And everybody lived happily ever after, and now everybody's creating their own thing, blah, 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 right? Well, we could do that too. We can open our hearts for love and compassion and just be nice to people. Just like the other day when I'm driving, I was going home. I was, going to turn left, cross over the road and whatnot. Somebody's walking across the road. And the person I was walking, she stopped and she waved and said, go ahead, because she looked behind her and realized there's no cars right now. But if she started walking across the street, I would have to wait, and then I was going to be stuck behind her for like another 5 minutes where all these cars coming through. So she's like, just go. And I was like, oh, thank you, And she was happy, and I was happy, and it's just, hey, so let's do our best to do good in the world and make people happy and help people to be happy and be nice to people. Because we're all in this together. No one's better than nobody else. It's going to be nice. Stop, if you look down at people, stop looking down at people. People at McDonald's that are making your food or whatever restaurants you go to, they're awesome people too. They're just going through their journey. I've been there. I used to work in fast food. I loved it. I actually missed it. I'd love to go back and work at like a Harvey's or Swiss Chalet or something like that. I'm like, yeah. It's nostalgic for me. But we just got to know, that we're in control. Stop giving up our control. Stop letting other people control us. Or, like in that movie, everybody gave up their wish and gave up control, and they just, live in the rat race, as you say, right? And have no dreams, have no hope. Oh. But just know that you're amazing. You're important. You really are. It's, I know I'm just, this podcast is just rambling today, but all I can get across is to motivate you to live your dream and know that you're in control of it. There's nobody in control of your dream, right? There's no one that's going to help you or stop you from living your dream. Not that they're not going to help you. There's going to be lots of people willing to help you. But I'm saying, it's not like you have to be like, okay, I gotta wait. I want to be an actor in Hollywood, and I have to be at the right place, know people, or, blah, 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 right? Start living your dream. Like, I'm sitting here in my podcast studio, and it's freaking awesome. I never thought I'd have one of these. I feel cool. And my dream or my reality that I'm creating is like, eventually I like to do live events and travel around and stuff like that and just motivate people and show people, because we need that. It's hard to motivate yourself. It's good when you put your energy out there and start attracting other people with similar energy as you, and then you motivate each other and you feed off each other's energy, and then you both become successful. And not to be like, oh, they're successful and I'm, no, why? Why they're making more than me? Why this? Why that? Who cares? Because the moment that energy shifts for negativity is the moment you lose everything. Here's an example. Story time. It's been a while since I said it that way. But check it out. I was at the casino. I know I haven't been in a while, but I went recently with some friends. And I was like, okay, guys, we're not here to gamble. Law of attraction, and I do the Mike experience. I don't actually do things like that. I just do it with friends and family and stuff. It's fun. Anyways, and then I'm like, check it out. So let's start with whatever amount you want to start with, and let's just go with the flow, And once the energy was there, like I remember at one point they were up like 3 times the money that they started with, and I was up a lot too, like 3-4 times the money I started with. But then, and it was like, oh, awesome, and stuff. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna go over here and play these machines and stuff. You guys, try to feel the flow and stuff. And then I saw them later on. They're like, no, we lost everything. And I was in the process of going down, 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 down. And then we talked about it after the fact, and we're like, why do you think that happened? Because and I said, can you know, or did you feel the energy shift when you were at your peak? How like amazing the energy was, and then there's that energy shift that brought it back down, and then you're like, huh. So what was the energy shift that made it? For me, it was like I wanted to show off and be cool. I wanted to win big money, right? I wanted to win like $5,000 or $2-3 grand and be like, look at this. This is awesome. Kind of be a pompous asshole, I guess. I just wanted to show off and be like, look, see? And, like I talk to people, like even the people that work there, I'm like, hey, we joke around and they're like, hey, she's like, I don't know, this one of the workers there is like, I wouldn't believe it unless I see it all the time. Every time I see you, man, people are winning around you like crazy. And you're winning decent too. Like, she's like, I wouldn't believe it if I didn't see it myself. If somebody told me the story about this guy named Mike coming to the casino and helping people win, and because when people sit beside me, I'm like, hi, or I sit beside them, I'm like, are you doing good? Like, oh, not so good. I'm like, well, now you're going to get bonuses, and now this is going to have good vibes, and just positive, happy energy. And they start winning. And for me, one of my energy shifts that really lowered me was I was playing a game, and I was just like going from machine to machine to machine, trying to like get that big win, right? So I can be like, look, impress my friends. And one of the workers came up to me and goes, hey, that machine you were just playing like a few minutes ago? I was like, yeah. She's like, well, you should have stayed. I was like, why? She's like, this lady that's playing it now, she's, absorbed all the energy you left there because she's winning 5,000 plus right now. I'm like, oh. And then my energy shifted from, and I even said with my words, right? Yes, that's amazing. She probably deserves it more than me. Like she needs it and blah, 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 right? Good vibes. But in my heart, I was like, fuck you. That's my money. Right? And jealousy and this. And you have to try to fight it, be like, push it away. Be like, hey, calm down. And my dad used to say, it's the natural man, the natural beast in you is coming out, right? And you got to tame it, right? And I was just like, calm down, relax. And the energy shifted. And I knew right then and then. And, I started with like a couple $100 or something. And I was up to like, I started hovering between 900, 800, 900, 800. And it was pretty impressive. My friends were like, that's pretty cool. And they were happy that they tripled their money at one point. But then it all shifted. And I was like, yes. Even though you're about to walk away with nothing, you should have cashed out and left. You'd be surprised how many people stick around and play. I tell you, it's all about the energy. If you have positive, go-lucky energy and you're like doing whatever you're doing and having an amazing time, but if you feel the shift change, that something negative is coming around or something's happening, get out. Leave the casino or leave wherever you are because, it sucks. And then you look back at it and go, why? And then you make up all these things, right? Well, in a casino, they pump in pure oxygen, and that just makes an endorphin rush. And you're like, I'm going to stay here, and I'm amazing. And that chance of winning with all the flashing lights and all the disorienting patterns on the floor and blah, 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 blah is what happened. No, I take responsibility. I wanted to show off. And I wanted to be like, look at me with the law of attraction. I'm amazing. And that's what bit me in the ass. I can't blame the casino. I'm not blaming all the strategies they use to keep you in there. It comes down to you. Take responsibility for your actions. Be happy. Start creating positivity, and your wildest dreams will come about. It's that fucking simple. But are you going to do it? Or are you going to say, oh, that's too far-fetched? Because like I mentioned, I have friends. I have friends, guys. I'm not a loser. People like me too. No, like I'm saying, I have friends that seen me change my life around 360 and that start achieving the wildest dreams. They're just like, you're just lucky. It won't work for me. It'll never happen for me. And I try to tell them it will, and it can. Choose to. But if you're not ready, you're not ready. There's nothing I can do about it. But just hope when you listen to these podcasts and you start going, you know what, maybe there's something to it. Because this guy is pretty lucky. Has nothing to do with luck. Just like being sick, if you choose not to, to lose all your money, or if you choose not to fail at whatever projects you're working on and choose to do, you will achieve. It's funny because shortly after, I was looking at because now I'm moving into this new house. It has a really long driveway. And yeah, I'm going to hire somebody to do the snow removal, but I want a little tractor and do it myself. So I was looking at the John Deere tractor, and somebody has one. It's a 2023 John Deere tractor that can cut your grass. And it has the, whatever it's called. It has the snowblower attachment. And it's selling for like $8,500 on Facebook Marketplace or whatever, right? And I was like, that's what I want. I started writing my friend that went to the casino with me that day. And I was like, okay, I'm going back to the casino and I'm going to win 10 grand so I can pay for this cash, right? And he's like, you know what? Instead of going to the casino, why don't you just make a few phone calls to your customers and, instead of being lazy and dead scrolling on your phone, why don't you make a few phone calls to customers or do a few things? And then you'll probably make that money and then some. And I was like, true. But it's not as cool as if I win it at the casino and be like, look at me, I won. But that's my problem. That's why I'm not going to win a huge amount like that in one shot. I win little amounts here and there, like, $1,500, $2,000, $800, $500, more than I go in with. But I'm never going to win that huge, crazy amount because I'm chasing it. And that's the problem. And I'm trying to do it for not the right reasons. And that's the reason why I'm not successful in that avenue. But it's true. It's so fucking true. Like, I could spend the time at the casinos playing and trying to win. Or I can actually, play life, real life gamble. Like, I have 2 warehouses here. I got a decent business going, but I can make it bigger. And instead of me going like, I'm just going to sit here and wait for the universe to make it bigger for me. And I'm going to sit in my podcast studio and just talk to people, but not actually do anything to make my business better. And I feel the universe going, hey, hire somebody to take over the commercial accounts, train them, show them what. They can work remotely from the phone. They can get new contracts, new customers, send you the info. And then you have somebody else at the warehouse to do all the quotations and stuff. And you have more time and, things will flow, right? And I'm just like, yeah, right. But it's easy to just dead scroll. I have a couple of employees this week not in. One's sick and one has something to do. Took some time off. And I'm working the warehouse, myself. I'm doing everything. And then I'm just like, see, I'm a busy person. I don't, I don't have time to work on the commercial stuff, but I do. But then I'm just like, well, I got to catch up on Rick and Morty, or I'm going to catch up on this TV show. I'm going to catch up on this, right? But I'm just wasting time. And it's so easy to waste time and be lazy and justify, I'll do it tomorrow. There's always a tomorrow. I'll do it next time. There's always next time. Now is now. If I could truly live and focus in this now and do what I need to do, boom, 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 I'll have everything I've been crying about. How you heard me many times saying, well, I just want to win all this money at the casino so I can just give money away. Okay, well, I can make a lot more money if I just put that energy into my business and help it grow and find the right energy flow of people, employees, and that I need. And the sky's the limit, right? And give these, amazing employees of mine a good job and pay very well or give bonuses and do this and do that. And that, it's just the same thing. But that's what I feel I need to do instead of just, whining. I'm going to try to make it a casino. Why, universe? How come the universe isn't giving me the money? Let me win the $70 million in the Lotto Max tonight here in Canada. And I'll give away millions to people. I'll change people's lives. And I'll do this and create more jobs for people and pay them like very well and stuff like that, right? Okay, cool. But I can do that right now. And I do. So it all comes down to you. It's just struggling. You could, I'm not like a guru or anything. I'm living the law of attraction and testing it and going through the trials and errors and learning and how to use the positive energy. And this podcast helps me, actually. It actually helps me when I talk it out and realize what I, need to do. Like today, I worked hard. I, had no employees, so I did the basic work, that my employees normally do. So I did all that. And then I still had time, and I went through and got a couple commercial contracts, renegotiated a few things, and boom, 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 right? Now the energy, the flow of positivity, or the flow of money is just flowing again. And that's all I got to do. Is I've been chasing in the wrong places. And I realize that today, as of now, as I'm talking to you, that I need to focus and stop chasing, like I tell all of you, all my listeners to do. Stop chasing, guys, because if you're chasing me, I'm running away. And stop being lazy. And that, I'm not saying for you, it's like for me too. Stop dead scrolling. Stop watching movies. Stop trying to be like, oh, I worked so hard today. But if you feel like you need to do something, go fucking do it. If the universe or God or your still small voice or your gut or something in your heart's telling you, I need to go do this now, go do it now, because only good things are going to happen. So I'm realizing a lot today. And, even my friend that told me, and he's a good friend, and him and his wife, they're awesome. And if you guys are listening, I love you guys. But even them, they say things that I know, like, that just pops in their head. And, to push me a little, the universe's way of pushing me back on track. Because it's easy to get off track. It's easy to be like, oh, look over here. Look at this. This is, oh, what's this over here? Oh. Right? It's a learning experience. So today I learned a lot. So here's what I learned, people. Here's what I learned to all my listeners. Here's my reality check is I got to stop chasing all these big wins to casinos or all these big wins and these big jobs, right? And just let flow the contracts. And when I, do what the universe is pushing me to do what I know I need to do. And I feel in my heart and I, feel in my gut or whatever. And then I'll have all my big wins consistently. Because, and I do very well. Like, don't get me wrong. I have fun at the casinos and I do well. But I'm not going to go there to chase anymore. To chase the big wins just so I can give money away. I'm just going to go for fun and let the universe hook me up with whatever the universe wants to hook me up with. But I'm going to just trust the flow. Practice what I preach. Because there's a difference between, oh, I have all this knowledge. I know exactly what I'm doing wrong, But actually doing it, putting your money where your mouth is It's harder to do every second and every day, but this is the whole point of Life Changers with Mike. I'm your host. Is we're going to learn together. We're going to strive together, and I'm going to bring more and more people into the studio that we could talk to, and just how they figured out for them what works and how, because everybody has a story of success. Now the question is, are you going to live success 24/7? Or are you going to have a little bit of success, learn a few things, and more success? So I'm here talking to everybody that's listening right now, sharing my experiences of my successes, my failures, and so on and so forth, taking full responsibility of all my actions, for all my failures, all my success, all this stuff. And just say, trust the flow. Trust your heart. Open your heart for love and compassion. Stop chasing. And those times when everything is flowing perfectly and you're like, oh, this is it, right? Let's strive to have that more often than not. Let's not make excuses for why things aren't working out the way it needs to work out. Let's not, dead scroll or whatnot. Let's co-create positivity and love in this world. If we all put out love, energy in this world, and positivity and stuff, how much better the place will be. Because in the end, just like I tell you all the time, the algorithm you're putting in your device, or the algorithm you're putting in you, because we are literally programming ourselves. And, oh, Mike, you're crazy. I'm not a robot. You can't program me. And look, think about it. How many times have you doing the same repetitive thing for work, right? You work in a factory and this is all you do, and you could literally just zone out, practically turn off your brain and your body's still going to do the work. How many times have you been driving and you just zone out and you're like, whoa, where am I? Shit, I'm driving. It's been 3 hours. What? I didn't die or crash? Because autopilot. Right? You can just go through the motions. So our body is programmed. We can program it for positivity, negativity, or whatever. Run the program. You can let the body run this program and run you. Or you can start taking control. Put out love, compassion, and run your own program. Redesign your program and program yourself to achieve and get everything you want. I do love everybody that listens. I appreciate you. And please send me any topics or anything if you want me to talk about anything specific, or if you have any questions, or if you're going through any life-changing things and you need some advice. I have no problem making an episode. Maybe I'll bring you on. You can reach me at lifechangersmike@gmail.com. That is lifechangersmike, all one word, @gmail.com. And once again, I love you guys very much. And thank you very much for everybody who's listening and helping me co-create and create my reality of my podcast, and by listening and by sharing it. I appreciate you. Once again, this is Mike with Life Changers. You're awesome.